A very good morning, students. Hope you all are well at your home and staying with your good health. Today, we are going to start our practical part for the chapter number 8, and the chapter is conditional statements in Python. In this chapter, we have already covered first part, and that is the operators in the Python. The second part of this chapter is based on the decision making statements. So today we are going to do our practical part for decision making statements. There are four conditional statements. If we want to decide something, which statements are going to be executed, which statements are not going to be executed on a particular condition, then we are going to use our decision making statements. And these are four conditional statements. First is if, single if. Second is if, else. Third is if, elif, else, ladder. Okay. Fourth is nested if. So let's we see one by one. Okay, we start with our single if. If we want to check a particular condition, and on behalf of that particular condition we are going to execute some statements, then we are going to use only if part. Okay, I'm going to explain you with example. Program 1. Okay, so program 1 is based on to check whether a given number is positive. Okay, so our program is, we are going to check whether a given number is positive or not. So for that, code is going to be written. So first we have to take the one number. If we want to take that number from the user, and we are going to check whether the number is positive or not. So to take a value from a user, we have to use two functions, that is int and input. Input is a function which is going to help us to take a number from the user, and this is the prompt which is going to be shown on a output screen. Enter the number. Okay, enter the number. This is the prompt, and this is the input function which is going to help us to take a value from the user, and this function is used to convert that value into an integer, right? So we are going to check whether this number is positive or not. Condition is going to be made with the help of if number greater than 0, so that means number will be a positive number. So this is the condition. If the number is going to be match with this condition, if this condition will be true, so that means the number is positive. So we have to write a simple message, and with the print function we can do number is positive. Okay, positive. So in this small piece of code, we are going to check whether a number is positive or not. So this statement is going to be execute when our this condition is will be matched. Okay, if the number is, suppose we are going to enter 5. 5 is greater than 0, so that means number will be positive. If the -5 will be entered by the user, so that means the number is not positive. This message will not print. So this is the example of single if. If we want to check whether a number is positive or negative, both things are going to be checked by us. Then the second type of conditional statement is going to be used, and that is if else, right? So same program will be done by us with the help of if else. Let's see. N is a variable which is going to be stored that particular number which is given by the user. So the same prompt I am going to give over here. Enter the number which is going to be checked by us with the help of if condition. Okay, if n greater than 0, then the message will print number is positive. If the condition will be false, right? If the condition will be false, the else part, this else part will be execute, and we are writing over here. So else part will be execute when your condition will be false, and so I am writing over here the else part means if the number will be negative, the else part will execute when this condition will be false. So we can say this part is your true part. If your condition will be true, this part, if part, is going to be executed, and the else part is your false part. This part is going to be executed when your condition will be false. So here we understand there are two types of conditional statements. Next type is nested if. Nested if means if will be covered in another if block. Okay, if we are going to write any if in the block of the if, that means that if is internal if will be a nested if. Let's we understand through a example. Suppose I am going to check which number is largest. Okay, so you can say program to check which number is greater or largest in the given three numbers. Suppose we have three numbers and we are going to check which one is the greatest one. Okay, or you can say largest one. So first of all we are going to take the values from the user in input, enter the first number, n1 is the second one. So again we are going to repeat the same process to take the value for second. See, our prompt is going to be changed according to our requirement. Enter the second number, right? Now third, int input, enter the third number, right? So in this way we got three numbers from the user. Now we are going to check whether the number, first we are going to check the first number will be a largest one or not. So there will be a two condition. The number should be greater from number 2 and number 3. So first condition is going to be written by me like this, and after that if the number will be greater than number 1 will be greater than number 2, then after that we are going to check whether the number will be greater than from the number 3. If the both condition are going to be true, so that means the number 1 is, that means number 1 is the largest one. Okay, largest. Or else, again we are going to check else if. Okay, else if number 2 greater than number 3. If number 2 greater than number 1, that means number 2 will be checked by 3 and 1. If this second number will be greater from these two numbers, that means number 2 will be the greatest one, or you can say largest one. So our message will be like this. This is the message which is going to be printed. Now the last one is, we don't need to check the last one. If the number 1 is not greater, if the number 2 is not greater, that will be understood that the number 3 is the largest one. Okay, number 3 is the largest. So in this example we have seen both type of if. We have seen the nested ifs. So this if is under this outer if, and we have already we are using elif ladder also. So in this example we are using, there are two type of conditional statements. One is nested if, second is if, elif, else. Okay, so now these are the 4 types of conditional statements.